Hello and welcome to Media League Sigma 6, where characters from different media come together in one place. Yeah, I'm going back to the old intro now. But also, I'm in a new appearance this time. A Gundam, for that matter, since they're now a part of the channel this time. But that's not what I'm here to talk about. Prepare to be informed. I often don't share my secrets as often as I should. But today that all changes thanks to Sonic, Blaze, and Luna. Of course. But this is only part one. The rest are going to be done by others who's doing it in my stead. So, enjoy the video.
There is nothing wrong with your computer. Do not turn off your screen. You're about to enter the realm of awesomeness and coolness known only as Media League Sigma 6.
Welcome to Media League Sigma 6, where villain plans burn. JNF is going to teach the villains a lesson they've not learned. Eggman, you're not the smartest. Chrysalis, you're not an artist. If your villainous plan sucks, you'll be the next to burn. JNF Benson, he is a man punch, wears a cool hat. JNF Benson, he has the gem, a dark spaceship. Where he purchased that? JNF trains robots, Decepticons, and trucks. JNF, this villain sucks. Yeah. JNF.
Hey Sonic, do you ever wonder how some characters keep reappearing after being gone for months?
No, I didn't think of that until now. Why do you ask?
I found this part in my garden back home and showed it to Tails, who said it's a piece of a pod.
A piece of a pod. Nice find, Blaze.
Yeah, but don't let Twilight Sparkle know. She might get jealous.
You feline show off.
This is nothing. It has a sticker on it with an address for a place called the Warehouse of Cloning. I have no idea what that is or how this pod part ended up here, but I would do anything to find this warehouse.
If you can remember exactly where you saw it, I should be able to help.
I can only think of one possible location where it might be, our old place in the construct area.
Alright then, Blaze, let's go! I even brought one along. Well, we're all here.
I'm definitely glad we arrived so quickly. Hopefully, none of us end up losing our lunch after showing up here.
I think I'll have the same breakfast I enjoyed back at the Hellhound Adoption Center.
Even though we're here to figure out how some characters have been returning for so long, I have to say, Luna, I'm surprised at how easily you managed to convince Blitzo to let you come on this trip.
Yeah, you can say it was that easy.
Hey Blitz.
Yeah?
Can we have Luna for a trip to a place called the Warehouse?
Okay.
Wow, that was simple?
Yeah, he was still not over the fact that JNF was upset about him being turned into a turtle.
Yeah, probably. Note to self, never turn JNF into an animal.
Curse that Megatron news from merely replacing my brother, Lord. Use dread to dragging me into a dentist's office. I'm never teaming up with him again.
Thank goodness you're here, Mr. Nightmare. An appointment just opened up, and you're going to need braces.
Braces!
Yes, braces. I'm afraid it's an orthodontic emergency.
Braces on a robot? That would look ridiculous.
Of course you wouldn't.
Man, I'm a robot with braces, and that's wilder than Disney's Hades getting a haircut.
Just a little trim over the top. I said a trim over the top, not extinguished. I really need to get a new hairstylist.
I feel like I should yell at Hades to get a haircut.
You would, but aren't you forgetting one tinsy-winsy but ever so crucial little tiny detail? Hades is a freaking Olympian god of the underworld.
Oh right, I keep forgetting about that. So never mind.
I'll go find a light switch.
Ow, my back! Guys, I know I'm known for my aggressive behavior or charming personality, but when it comes to the unknown, I can get terrified too. We have no idea what's hidden here. It could be anything. The moment those lights come on, we'll find ourselves confronting the most horrifying thing we've ever imagined in our entire lives.
I have to admit, I'm really not into this. Not even a little, not at all.
This feels like a wild moment, but how are there so many clones of everyone we know?
Can't you guess?
Forgotten me from the old SD Gundam Force show so soon. I am deeply wounded.
What? You're here as well?
Yes, it is I, Tallgeese, Knight of the Tempest. Fear is my pleasure, and hatred is my nourishment.
And behold Psycho, the demonic trooper.
And behold Megatron, leader of the Predacons.
It can't be. You guys were supposed to be dead.
Unless they're ghosts.
HMPH, you would have been better off if we were just ghosts. I see you've discovered that the duplicates you're seeing are all clones, genetically replicated versions of the originals. Come with me, and I'll show you.
This is so much for me to handle. I mean, could I be a clone? Like when Blaze came from Sonic's world's future with Silver to try and take down Iblis, sacrificing herself to create the Soul Dimension. Could she have made me a clone of her but without any memories? Or when Sonic and I faced last year's villains of the Damned, including Frieza, General M, Bison, Dark Samus, and Emperor Palpatine, could a clone of me have faced those villains with Sonic instead of me?
No, of course not, Blaze. Sonic met you when his world and your soul dimension merged during Sonic Rush. If the Blaze the cat of the future had cloned herself to create you, Tails would have figured out you were a duplicate of the original. And remember, Sonic faced Frieza, Bison, Dark Samus, and Emperor Palpatine with you last year. I would have noticed if a fake version of you was around.
This is our hero's level, but this place has so many more. There's the sidekick level. The Dalek level. The robot level. The F Nights at Freddy's animatronic level. And the supervillain level.
I don't understand why there are so many clones of everyone.
Have you heard of someone called James Nicholas Foots?
Nope, that name doesn't sound familiar.
James Foots is our creator, something of a scientist, if you will. We were merely characters from various franchises until James Foots brought us to life through the very channel that gave us existence once more.
The originals came from franchises that were either just starting or had already ended. But when a character steps outside of their own franchise or show, they quickly learn that the outside world is much more dangerous than they realized. Sooner or later, those characters begin to get killed off in a number of ways, sometimes die by explosions, other times by drowning in the river, most times eaten alive by a swarm of great white sharks, and there was even one who died by being farted on by the annoying orange.
Oh yeah, he remembers that part.
To ensure the continuation of each character, James Nicholas Foots created numerous clones of us to send out, so whenever a character from a show or franchise is killed off, one of his clones is sent to take their place. Watch and learn.
Kenny clone number 15 has just died in the South Park show, so Kenny clone number 16 will now take his place.
Farewell, my identical friends. Live long and prosper.
Oh my god! They killed Kenny! You bastard!
Wow, I am impressed. He lasted longer than others.
Kenny clone 17, you up.
This makes so much sense. I've been wondering for about 15 years how that kid keeps coming back to life every time.
I was spacing out.
But you must understand, the cloning process isn't perfect. It never has been. Some of the clones in this warehouse were slightly different from the previous ones. Sometimes, clones would have extra limbs, like D-Rex from Jurassic World Rebirth. Other times, the clones' memories were lost, such as Shadow or Starkiller, and their voice would also be different.
Wow, is that why Talus's voice keeps changing?
Yes, and could you explain why Optimus Primal, my old rival, had an Australian accent in the last two parts of the Dimension Crisis, even though he was voiced by an American actor?
I thought we'd agree to never speak of that again.
And why did Draco and Blazer have New York accents instead of British accents?
We heard that! Okay?
Exactly. Also, you yourself, Luna, are a clone as in Luna 2.0. The first clone of the original Luna had bust size that was bigger than the one you had, but she died very quickly and you Luna 2.0 replaced her.
Oh man, that is a lot to handle.
Well, the system worked for a while, but then one of the supervillain clones got out of hand. Lord Nightmare, the evil and defective clone of Lord Villiers Dread, resented being trapped in the warehouse or the Shadow Realm, longing for his moment to join the Media League Sigma 6 channel. He alone uncovered a horrifying secret that enabled him to take his brother's place in the movie Tails was involved in, and...
Looking for me.
Did not expect that. Characters from different media actually coming back to life. Loaning, explaining how Kenny from South Park keeps coming back to life after her dying almost every single episode of South Park. Luna discovering that she's actually Luna 2.0. I wonder what they'll encounter now. In their search of my channel's secrets. But that'll have to wait till next time. I'm in part 2, where Tom Tucker, from Family Guy, takes over with a gun. But until then, remember to like the video, comment, and then subscribe. Follow me on X and Facebook. As this has been Media League Sigma 6.
to like, comment and subscribe, for more videos are en route.